Canadian lawmaker resigns following claims he secretly advised Chinese diplomat. A Canadian lawmaker has resigned from the governing Liberal Party following allegations that he secretly met with a Chinese diplomat and advised Beijing not to release two Canadian captives. Han Dong announced in the House of Commons late on Wednesday that he would sit as an independent. Global News reported that he met with Han Tao, China's Consul General in Toronto in February 2021, and suggested officials in Beijing delay freeing Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor. That's the infamous Mike and Mike, two Canadians being held by China at the time. He is also alleged to have suggested releasing the two men would benefit the rival Conservative Party. Interesting. The two men spent nearly 3 years in Chinese jail cells and faced dubious espionage charges, widely seen as retaliation for Canada's arrest of the senior Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou as a part of an American extradition request. Dong confirmed to Global News that he spoke with Han Tao, but strongly denied the allegations had he advocated for delay in release of the two jailed Canadians. Do we think he's going to be honest? Is that what we expect? Yeah, I did it, guys. Sorry. That's what we're expecting. All right, so he says, let me be clear. What has been reported is false, and I will defend myself against these absolutely untrue claims, he said in Parliament. But let me assure you, as a parliamentarian and as a person, I have never and will never and would never advocate or support the violation of the basic human rights of any Canadian, of anyone, anywhere, period. What do you guys think? Do you believe him? The allegations came amid persisting concerns over alleged Chinese political interference in Canada. In a statement to Parliament, Dong said he was resigning from the Liberals to avoid the perception of a conflict of interest. I'm sure that's the reason. I'm taking this extraordinary step because to sit in the government caucus is a privilege, and my presence there may be seen by some as a conflict of duty and the wrong place to be as an independent investigation pursues the facts in this matter, Dong said as he read from a statement, at times becoming emotional. I don't know about you guys, whenever I see somebody testifying and they get emotional, most of the times they're lying. I think that's, we just saw, we were dragged through that whole, what was it, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp circus. I don't think Johnny Depp cried, did he? And he ended up winning. What about that Christine Blasey Ford with Kavanaugh? Now, I know Kavanaugh cried, but when you watch it, you can kind of tell he's not crying for pity. He's like so overwhelmed. Like, it got to a point, and I don't think he cried that often, to be honest. I could be wrong about that. Anywho, I just get a little sus when, especially grown men, start crying pretty quickly. Put it that way, Kavanaugh, I don't think he was too quick to start crying. It was after weeks and months of going through the ringer, all the stress build up. Canada, MP Han Dong steps down over Chinese interference claims. A Canadian member of Parliament has stepped down from his party's caucus over allegations he was involved in Chinese political interference. Han Dong has been accused of lobbying a Chinese diplomat to keep two Canadians imprisoned in China. On Wednesday, Mr. Dong said that he will leave Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's governing Liberal Party to sit as an independent. Mr. Dong has denied the allegations against him. To all my colleagues in Parliament, media reports today, quoting unverified and anonymous sources, have attacked my reputation and called into question my loyalty to Canada. Mr. Dong, who was elected to Parliament in 2019, said in an emotional evening address to Canada's House of Commons, "Let me be clear. What has been reported is false, and I will defend myself against these absolutely untrue claims." In an unconfirmed report published by Canadian media outlet Global News, citing anonymous national security sources. So think about this. This is what I wanted to get to. Our national security agency doesn't trust our government enough that they leak it to the media before our governing officials. If that's not telling, I don't know what is. According to the Global News report, Mr. Dong allegedly suggested to the diplomat in February 2021 that a release of the two Canadians would benefit the Federal Conservative Party of Canada, which is seen as unfriendly to Beijing. Mr. Kovrig and Mr. Spavor were eventually released on September 24th, 2021, the following day. Ms. Meng was released from detention in Canada and returned to China following a deal with U.S. prosecutors. The allegations against Mr. Dong come as Canada grapples with wider accusations that China attempted to interfere in the last two federal elections and a mayoral election in Vancouver. A series of reports published in recent months by broadcaster Global News and newspaper, The Global and Mail, based on anonymous national security sources and leaked classified documents, indicated concerns that Beijing interfered by putting pressure on its consulates in Canada to support certain candidates. The alleged interference is not believed to have altered the outcome of either federal elections. Okay, so that's what we know so far. We don't know anything so far, so even saying that is kind of pointless. But let's ask the question, does it matter? Does it matter if this would change the result of the election, of the Canadian election? Well, elections, I guess, because it's happened in more than the federal race. But the answer to that is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're a sitting prime minister and you are briefed on something like this, to this veracity, first of all, you're the sitting prime minister. This vote is putting you in the prime minister's seat. So if you're letting this slide by your desk and you know about it, it doesn't matter if it changes the outcome. If you know about it, you need to be telling the truth about it. Now, I know that's wishful thinking when talking about Trudeau, but that's the fact of the matter. It's wrong, regardless. That's my take on that.